And then also I think a big misconception is that everything has to be that like clean aesthetic, but truly I have to completely disagree with that.
No matter how hard you grind, how hard you're working, like how good you're doing on social media, people always have something to say.
For sure.
And then you constantly wonder, did I say that wrong? Or how was I perceived?
Even she knows, like, I am the worst texter. And people are like, oh my gosh, like,
No shade.
you're always on. I take like 5 days
God.
to respond. I
5 to
feel
7
so
business
bad.
days.
So everyone's waking up at 5 a.m. They're running 20 miles and then going to work. And I'm like, wow. It truly just makes you want to get better and better.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Unfiltered Trainer podcast. I'm your host, GinaMarieFit, and today we have a special guest. This is Anyssa Grant. She is a content creator, social media manager, off-balance race pacer, and she happens to be one of my best friends in Tampa. She's from California, and I'm going to let her do a little welcome, tell us a little bit about herself, and then we'll get into it.
Hi guys, my name's Anyssa Grant. I'm 24 years old. I was born and raised in Northern California. And I moved to Tampa about 5 years ago to attend the University of Tampa. I played softball there for 2 years, and I graduated with my degree in exercise science and physiology. I'm currently a social media manager. I graduated in 2023, and I'm also a dog mom. I have 2 dogs that are going to be 4 years old in March. I am the only daughter, but I have 1 older brother, 1 younger brother, so I am the middle child.
Middle children are the best.
Yes. And I love anything outdoorsy. I love running, surfing, biking, you name it, I'm there.
I love it. She does the absolute most. Her content is fire, so definitely check it out. First, I want to talk to you about social media and career.
Yeah.
Being on social media can be really overwhelming. I feel like we are inundated with social media. So when you do it for a full-time job, how do you balance creativity and strategy when you're building an online presence for the brands you work with or even for yourself?
Yeah, so I do both. I do content creation for myself as well as for brands. I'm with an agency, so it does help to have a team of content creators. We're constantly brainstorming, working together, sharing trends, helping each other create content. So, I mean, whenever we just need to come up with some ideas, it's super, super helpful. But for myself, I just try to be as natural as possible and do things that I love and film it as I go. So there's really no strategy with me. I feel like I just kind of love filming myself and filming what I do. And I mean, I just prop up the camera and I have a great time doing it. And it's really not to impress anybody else. It's really just for myself and documenting my memories. But as for brands, I would say when it comes to strategy, it's really just your target audience and trying to figure out what that age group, what that gender, whatever it is, what they like, and try to really stick to it and get really creative with it. I feel like there's so many different niches, and yeah, you could just kind of play around, do a lot of trial and error, so I have a lot of fun with that.
You do, and she produces content fast. It's crazy how efficient she is when she's doing things. She actually just filmed for our studio. And when I pulled up the file to download it, there was over 700 pieces of content. And I was like, girlfriend did that in 2 hours. It's just incredible when you get to see people that are where they're supposed to be, doing what they're supposed to be doing, and they wholeheartedly can embrace it. And she does that. And she does it so aesthetically pleasing. It is just insane. What do you think is the biggest misconception people have about working in social media? And how do you navigate the pressures of constantly being online?
Oh my gosh, the biggest misconception is that it's easy. I feel like people always think, oh, it's just so easy. But it's really not. It can be so draining, and you're constantly on your phone, and you're scrolling, and you're doom scrolling. And that sounds fun in theory to just be like, oh, let me just scroll on TikTok and pick a trend. But it's truly not that simple. You really do have to strategize. You have to understand the trends very well and how you can even apply that trend to either a brand or a business. So it is not as easy as it seems. And then also I think a big misconception is that everything has to be that clean aesthetic, but truly I have to completely disagree with that. I just feel like the videos that I film, are always the ones where I don't try. And it's like not aesthetic. I'm not ever wearing makeup, so I always look crazy. Or even just like the most bold captions where it's like I really put myself out there and it's like very risky. But those always do well. And it's just like if you can be your truest self and not have to put on like a front like, oh, I'm perfect and I have that clean girl aesthetic and I have my life together. If you could just truly be yourself, the internet will reward you for that.
It's like the most necessary thing I think in social media. It's literally why we call this the Unfiltered Trainer. Is I want people to be able to just speak boldly, and I don't want you to have to feel like, oh, I cussed, or oh, I said that the wrong way. Like, bro, like, it ain't that serious. Like, we are so overly judgmental as a society.
Sure.
And in Tampa, like, we've spoke on the podcast numerous times about it. It's a beautiful city. Obviously, it's incredible for opportunity for entrepreneurs. Like, I couldn't be anywhere else right now, and I'm so grateful for everything that happens here. But no matter how hard you grind, how hard you're working, like how good you're doing on social media, people always have something to say.
For sure.
And then you constantly wonder, did I say that wrong, or how was I perceived? And it's just refreshing when people do come on here on social media and just speak what they need to speak and don't feel like they have to curate the caption. And just like you do so well with, if you're in like currently like when you're doing your like thoughts about boys, and it's what every other girl is thinking, but no one wants to say.
Exactly.
And like without being like, so many people emphasize the toxic side.
Yeah.
And yes, every city has toxic people, but you do it in like a lighthearted, fun way. But it's so relatable. I think that's why it pops off so well. And like you're working hard, but it doesn't seem like you have to try that hard, because it does seem very natural what you're doing.
Thank you. I definitely think the more bold it is, obviously, and the more attention it gets. And if you could tell a story, like everyone has gone through something traumatic, or, you know, whether it's like with a boy or family or whatever. So if you could just be completely transparent, and if you're willing to share that online, and, you know, it leads to questions, people love engagement, they want to hear the full story. So that's where I feel like I get the most engagement, is like whenever I bring in boys, or like, you know, bad breakups or something like that.
Dating is
relatable.
Dating is
rough in Tampa.
Men and women are both toxic here. It's not just
Yes.
men. But it's like, honestly, it's so true. And it's funny, like when I see my analytics for the podcast, one of my top 3 rated podcasts is the toxic friend one. And it's like not funny, but it is, because it's relatable and everybody's been there. We've all been burned by somebody, like, but there's always a lesson from all of it. And so I just like the way you put things out there.
Yeah.
How do you handle burnout in such a fast-paced, always-on industry?
Yeah, burnout is definitely something that a lot of social media managers deal with. And I feel like they don't talk about it a lot, because they just don't want to, you know, put that out there that being a social media manager is hard. They want it to be glamorous, but it can lead to a lot of burnout. I mean, I get exhausted a lot, and I really do need to be more cautious about taking breaks from my phone and like doom scrolling. And the hardest part about social media too is like you're working all day on social media, and then you go to your personal social media. So I'm like constantly on my phone. But the biggest thing for me is resting, reading, like really detaching from my phone, being around friends, going for runs, whatever it is I can to like, I mean, I do crafts. I just got like a keyboard. So I'm like trying to keep myself as busy as I can without touching my phone. Helps a lot, just because it like helps me mentally reset. And another thing about social media is, like, even though it's lighthearted and fun, you still get the bad news and like, you know, the bad side of TikTok. It can be very draining. So that's another hard thing for me, is trying to curate my feed to be as positive as possible. So that way when I am on it, I feel like I'm getting something from it. So like if I go on my Instagram right now and go to my explore page, it's all like motivational quotes, you know, recipes, things that I can actually like take my mind off and rest on social media. And it just like helps me, you know, take my mind off of work or whatever it is I'm going through that day.
I know. I think one thing that people don't understand, and I literally just dealt with this with somebody, is somebody had called attention to the fact that I didn't follow them back. And I think that people, if you're not on social media as a job, like obviously I have a podcast page, I have a business page, I run our studio's social media too. I have 4 pages because I have my charities page.
Yeah.
When it's your job, it's not fun. You are posting, you have to be on time, things have to be done, and then it's on to the next page. And I think a lot of people think when you're in social media that you're on your phone and like you're just there. You're not checking your notifications. It's business. You're doing what needs to be done. And I feel like it's something that people need to recognize is that it's not personal. It's supposed to be social. And so like when I miss following somebody, like I immediately went and followed them. It wasn't that serious. But people take offense to it because they don't realize that like if you're on it for a job and it's your business, it's totally different than being on it just scrolling for social purposes because you're bored. And so I feel like I think a lot of people that work in social media get judged a lot because it's not a taxing job physically. It mentally is, but that doesn't make it any less of a difficult job. There's so many things that go into it. And I feel like when we film content, I'm beat after a couple hours filming content. And then you think they're doing photo shoots and they're with brands and they're doing it all day. And then the last thing you want to do is go be on your phone socially too. And so I feel like it's one of those things that like, we're always very quick to judge things that are new or different. It's still a job. People work really freaking hard. And it's the best way to market. It's one of the best things you can be doing in 2025 as a business. And so I feel like that's like where it really is just an on industry. I don't feel like there's any time off for people on social media.
No, you got it like right on spot because even she knows like I am the worst texter. And people are like, oh my gosh, like you're always on. I take like 5 days to respond. I feel so bad. No joke. Like I'm on my phone constantly and I see it, but in my head I have so many tasks to do just on my phone alone that like it truly takes like 5 business days. I've even had one of my good friends, like she's like, you know how you can like pin at least like 9 contacts? You're pinned. I have like all my friends that I want to make sure that and my parents and my brothers that like I respond to when I can, like they're, you know, urgent. She's up there and she kept texting me and I guess like I was at work or something, so not on my mind. It was so bad to the point she had to DM me and was like, I know you're on Instagram. Like I felt so bad, but she understood. So I'm glad that I have friends that understand and don't give me a hard time. But I like, it's definitely a habit I'm not proud of, but truly it's like, it's to the point where it's almost like a task to respond. And it's not personal.
You're setting boundaries. Like you not responding because you're not on your phone is just setting boundaries.
Yeah. Well, exactly. Like I saw this quote and it was like, we should not be that accessible. Like, you know, years ago when we didn't have phones, like nobody was that accessible. So in my head, I always try to remind myself, like, if I didn't get back to somebody right away, in my head, I'm like, well, I naturally am not supposed to be this successful anyway. So I'm not too hard on myself. And I'm just very, very grateful that my friends understand.
If it's that serious, I just call. And everybody knows I don't call. I literally, if you can hear it, have an Invisalign, still learning how to talk. I don't like to be on the phone right now. So if I call you, shit is going down, it's emergent, like pick up the phone. I do not call people unless it's an emergency. So let's transition. One thing about Anyssa and the majority of my friends in Tampa, they're running baddies. They all just did marathons, half marathons, 15Ks this weekend. It's one of those things that they swear they're going to get me running next year. I'm definitely volunteering. I will always volunteer. But it's something that's become so powerful in Tampa. And what was just the means of fitness has become one of the best communities that you can find in Tampa. Because of that, running is both a mental and physical challenge. So what inspired you to even get into running? Like, where did all of this come from?
Yeah. Well, I was a former athlete. I played softball in college, and my freshman, sophomore year was kind of when COVID happened. So long time ago, I did do like some long distance running during COVID, but I never took it. Like I wasn't doing it weekly, just kind of whenever I could. And I loved running. I've always loved running. I grew up like, you know, doing track and stuff, but I didn't really fall in love with running until probably about a year ago. And I think it honestly was inspired by just, you know, being single and post breakup. I just wanted something to do, and it was so therapeutic for me. And because I became single, I had so much time on my hands. And so one of my good friends took me to Run Club for the first time, and it wasn't even that big at this point. It was still kind of starting up. And it was here in Tampa, downtown Tampa. And I just fell in love with like making friends and meeting people and having like like-minded friends around. And the first run, I like could barely finish it. I was dying, but I loved it. I kept coming back, and now I just like built the best community. I've met all of my best friends, and it's so wholesome. Like, you know, I used to a long time ago go out to bars and you know, drink with my friends and house parties. And I never really felt like I was enjoying that kind of crowd. Like, of course, I'd have fun in the moment, but I'd always, like, feel so empty every time I left. So, like, I didn't feel like it was me, you know? And I felt like even if I did have friends there, I always left empty and just anxious, not feeling good. And so I definitely knew that, like, I needed to take a shift of who I hung out with and where I surrounded myself with, and you know, where I'm at. And so when I found Run Club, I was like, this is where I'm at. Like, this is where I feel like at home. This is where I feel the most at myself. And it's just so like the most wholesome thing. Like, you get at runner's high. I swear, once we get her running, she's gonna get it. Runner's high. And once you kind of chase that feeling, no, we're gonna get her. We're gonna get you. I swear.
Oh.
I mean, this weekend,
I ran to meet her to get ice cream, but I was running down the street because I was late and there was ice cream involved. So maybe
We'll
it's
get
just
her.
incentivized.
yeah, exactly. Or like next week? Don't you have to do a nice little 5K?
The details of my life. So I'm going to an incredible event here in Tampa. It's the first time this is happening. These are the moments that like people really glorify living in Tampa.
Mm-hmm.
They make it seem like it's a perfect place, and it's not. There's a lot of great things, but it's not perfect. There's a lot of things that you struggle with living here. One thing I will say is that there's so much opportunity for women in business that I've never lived anywhere so empowering. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers is partnering with a lot of big names like Erin Andrews. As soon as I saw that headline, I was like, she's been a baddie in the sports world from before it was popular. But there's a ton of like really incredible women, all walks of life, different businesses, CEOs, fitness influencers, and we're all coming together next weekend for a leadership summit on Friday. And then somehow I got roped into participating in the Family and Friends Fun Day, which is a 5K. I've never put run and fun in the same sentence together. However, we will be participating. Some people that are going, and Sheridan thinks that she's going to be my pacer. And I said, I don't think I need to be paced for walking. And I was informed that I will not be walking.
She will definitely not be walking.
So we will see where
maybe
we
like
end up.
a speed walk.
I mean, a jog. Like, I
a
could
jog.
slow jog.
One thing about Gina though is that when I first met her, we both worked at a gym, and this girl would always skip out on cardio days. She'd be there 100% every strength day, and anytime there was a cardio day, she was like, I'm good, I'll pass. So I honestly don't think I've ever seen you do cardio. Maybe like one class, but
it's a special experience if you witness it. You might see me on the ground most of the time, or talking a lot of shit to the people I'm working out with, just to get out of doing the exercises. I am a personal trainer, but like I tell my clients and my members, if you're a real personal trainer, you don't love every exercise, you don't love everything about fitness. Like, you'd be just fake if you did. But yeah, so we'll see if I make it through. It's football weekend in Tampa. It's gonna be tough. I have a feeling that it'll be rough. What has been your most memorable race or moment running, and what stands out from it compared to all your other races?
Well, I just ran the half marathon here in Tampa, Gasparilla weekend, this past weekend, and Gina was there alongside. And I think the most memorable thing, I've only done 3 half marathons. I've done a few 5Ks. The goal is obviously to continue and do more, but of the 3, I've had just the most amazing time, and each time I make new memories and have a fun running buddy by my side. But this past one was the most memorable because I had all of my friends, like I had you there from the start of like prep day where we were doing like IVs and hydration and
carried the bag to the expo.
She went to the expo with me, and so that hype was so exciting. And then the actual day of the race, I had like a whole cheer team. My run club Club organized like a little pep rally. So Off Balance Run Club is actually the name of the run club that I'm a pacer at. And I think that just that community is so special, because when you feel like you are going to die, well, you feel like you're dying the whole time, but when you truly feel like giving it the most, like I was at mile 12 and not feeling great, my stomach was hurting, my head was hurting, it was getting hot, and literally when I needed it the most, like I was about to like just say like, oh, let me drop it down to like a 9-minute pace, let me take it easy, finish, you know, strong but slow. And I looked up and my friend had like a confetti and it was so cute, and there was like cameras flashing and everyone screaming my name, and that was so special. Like it made me so emotional. Like watching the videos was so sweet, because it's just like, you know, friends are hard to make in Tampa, and so when you have that, you really hold on to it and cherish it and appreciate the friends like that. So it was nice to be surrounded by love and all my friends this weekend. But besides that, my other favorite one was Miami, and I just think we had a cool little crew that went down there, and it was really fun, and the views were beautiful, and just the energy of Miami, like, is the best. So
apparently, ever since we talked about Miami, and she potentially said she was going to move, which just, I would lose it. Now I'm just getting all these apartments in Miami, and I'm like,
and they're nice.
They're
with a view, waterfront view.
No offense, Tampa, but these apartments, like we don't even come close, and they're like less than I'm paying right now, which is really scary. That's what I think is so alarming for me, is that they're like $1,800 on the water, high rises, views, amenities, like 10 out of 10, and it's less than I'm paying in Tampa. So it's just kind of one of those things where Miami boomed a long time ago. It's been big. It's just getting bigger. But if you move, I'm gonna be visiting, because I will lose my shit without you.
Yeah.
For people in Tampa that don't know, can you explain what Off Balance is? Where did that name come from, and why that movement's so powerful?
Yeah, so Off Balance Run Club is a run club in Tampa, Florida, and it was created by my good friend named John. John is a econ for Nike, so he has all these connections, but truly that's like his story to tell. But the quick little spiel about it is that in life throws you off balance, and so we have this little slogan that we say, you get back in stride. And I just think it's like the cutest little concept. And we meet every Tuesdays at 6:30, location pending, and then Saturdays at 7:30 a.m. And when I started going, it was probably like 100 people, which is still a lot, but back then when I think about it, I'm like, oh, not that many people. Because now we have like average like 300 people a run, and we just run like Bayshore, Riverwalk. We meet up at coffee shops, donut shops, whatever it is. And it has just been life-changing, because I have met the most amazing people. It has given me so many opportunities. Over this last summer, I became a pacer. So I usually chill at the 10:30 crew. With the 10:30 crew, we call it party pace. But sometimes I'm up there at the 8s, the 9s. And yeah, I think that the best part about it is I used to consider myself fast until I joined Off Balance.
It's crazy.
I'm not even kidding. These people are the most inspiring people, because everyone's waking up at 5 a.m. They're running 20 miles and then going to work. And I'm like, wow. It truly just makes you want to get better and better. And I feel like, I feel like I'm still so proud of myself for doing like 13 miles. Like, I don't ever want to downplay that, but it's still like being around the people that are chasing those like 20-mile runs and stuff. I know like one day that's where I want to be. I just haven't really found like I not the motive, but
when it's right and it's aligned.
Yeah, I think exactly. Yeah, I'm just so content with my 13 miles. I feel like it's so cute, it's so fun. I get to enjoy it, and I die a little bit.
And I'm never running.
So I'm proud of it. I love half marathons, so I'm so proud of it. But I mean, just being surrounded by the people who are truly crushing it every single day has been so inspiring. And I feel like I just have a bunch of like older brothers and sisters that are like, I don't know, like everyone's in their own journey in life and we all come together and run. And I think it's just so cute. It's like the most wholesome concept. I mean, we could be out in the world doing drugs and drinking and partying, but we all choose to be together, getting coffee and running at 7 a.m. on a Saturday. So
I always say, like, as much as I joke about not loving running, the fact that people spend so much time committed to a goal and the fact that there's a lot of things you have to persevere through when you're running, it's one of those things that it's like kind of like a lot of things, like you don't have to understand it or like it, but you full-heartedly can be like supportive of it. I think it's incredible the commitment they make, and like just seeing like what this group has developed into, and the fact that there are like safe places for people to go in Tampa now, groups to be a part of, where like you generally don't get judged. It doesn't matter what level or skill you're at. You're just welcomed as you are. That is what we need more in life. And I just love that you mentioned a couple times, there's a trend going on, and I hate using that word, but it's true. There's conversation on social media about a lot of people not drinking, and it's not beneficial, and it is toxic. As much as I love a margarita when we're on the beach, I also feel terrible for 72 hours after, because I'm 30 plus. This is my baby baddie here. I am 30 plus, and your girl takes 3 days to recover. I think
I take 3 days to recover. I'm 24.
I think it's like just a unique spot that we're finally in, that like it's okay to not do things, and you don't have to explain yourself. Like saying no is a formal sentence, and like no one is questioning or pushing you. That's been really nice about Tampa lately, that like everybody's into wellness and like overall wellness, and I feel like it's refreshing and it's a movement, and I want to keep that, like we're all a part of it. I like seeing this. Transitioning into, because faith is something that's really important to you, when you're running, how, and like working out, because she does it all, how do you integrate faith into your fitness and running journey? Do you think it's about worship, or do you think it's more about reflection?
Wow, that's a good question. So I am a Christian. I have been a Christian all my life, and my biggest influence was my grandma. She constantly was putting the Bible in front of our faces as kids, and most people I feel like a lot of people, when they kind of get like forced into it, they don't like it. But when my grandma passed away, I think that's when I became the closest to my faith and the strongest. And since she's passed away, it's only getting stronger and stronger. And honestly, I think fitness does have a big relationship to my faith, because a lot of times that's like my only time where it's like just to myself and it's quiet, especially when I'm running. Like it's just me, and I spend like a lot of time reflecting, thanking God. I mean, even my whole marathon, every mile, I try to do this in my half marathons, is every mile, once I hit that mile mark, just thank God. And it's just as simple as like taking a moment and being like, thank you so much for giving me the ability to move my body, and thank you so much for giving me this community, or whatever it is. And also, like, even when I am struggling, like it's kind of like my community of like my cheer team that I had. God, like at mile 12, was my biggest cheerleader. And so I think that it is a little bit of reflection, but a lot of worship with that too. So like I do take a lot of time. I mean, when you're running a half marathon, you're really thinking about everything about like your life, like, you know, you're questioning your life, what's your purpose? Like it's a mental thing as much as it is a physical thing. And I think that's when I feel the closest to God, is when I'm really just like struggling through my runs, because it's like I just want him more during that time to like push me and give me strength. So and I also have a really great church community as well. So they also help me like implement fitness and faith as well.
I love that. You just like shine when you talk about it.
I know. I just get so happy, because I mean I wasn't always this deep into my faith, and I think like kind of college is like where everyone a little bit struggles, like when they're out on their own. But it's definitely shaped me into a stronger person. Like I finally found like a great church here in Tampa. I did some church shopping when I first moved, and it's like nice to be out on my own, like not have, you know, I don't know, because I feel like a lot of people think it's like peer pressure from family, but I never really felt that. It's just cool to really enjoy it on my own and strive for this relationship by myself. Like it's not like anyone's like shoving a Bible, in my face. It's just something that I just want to keep growing and getting deeper into the word. And I really appreciate my friends here, the church that I have. Like tomorrow we're serving, so we're just kind of it's serve day here in Tampa. We are going out into the community. I think we're packing lunches for children tomorrow, so that's like my group. And I would have never thought like 3 years ago that that's how I'd be spending my Saturdays, running at 7 a.m. and then serving with my church. And then, it's just like so wholesome to be doing that with friends too, like like-minded people. I mean, we're all running at 7 a.m. and then we're going to serve. And I think it's so amazing. Like years ago, I was spending my Saturdays, drinking on a boat. So it's very different now.
We're all phases of life. It's okay. A boat day's nice too.
Yeah.
But it's just cool to see that like we're grown, we're adults, we are responsible for our choices.
Exactly.
And you choose this, and that's so powerful, and that you can speak so boldly about it without contention. It's really just refreshing. How would you say that your faith has influenced your personal and your business life when you're going through challenges and obstacles?
Oh, it's the root of everything. It's the root of who I am. I mean, when I didn't have faith, I was unhappy. And so now that I have faith, like anything that I'm struggling with in life, I know God's got me and He's there for me. And that's just so special. Like I saw this quote and it basically was like, what's a piece of advice that you heard that has like changed your perspective on life? And basically it's like ending every sentence with, and that's okay. So like, this person doesn't like me, and that's okay. And I love that because it's true. Like that's okay. God's got you and He's got your back and He has a plan, and it's always gonna be better than what you want or what you wish for or what you think it should be. And so I'm trying to just like think about that every time. Like if something doesn't work out in my favor, that's okay because God's got me and His plan is so much better anyways. So it helps a lot in my day-to-day. Like I definitely think with like work, in the Bible, it's just like you want to work hard and work with a purpose. And so I think my purpose is to truly just like, even in the small day-to-day, there's like big purposes and then there's small purposes on your day-to-day tasks. And if I can just like have a lighthearted interaction with my clients, that's my purpose, like who knows if they're struggling at home or, business expenses are rising, and just to be that like lighthearted person in their day-to-day life could truly make or break it. And even if I'm struggling, it honestly helps me when I'm having a bad day, just to like talk to my client and just treat each other like humans. Like that, at the end of the day, we're all going through something. And
I would say that put the human back in human being.
Yes, exactly.
Before you decide to say that, negative thing about somebody or have that misstep or speak so ill of somebody that's not there to defend themselves, put the human back in human being and think before you speak, because most times you don't have a clue what somebody is going through. Just because you see accolades like I'm going through right now, every single these awards and these wonderful things are happening. And like a year ago, I didn't think I was making it to my birthday. And that's what, like, it took me 30 plus years to finally be this successful. And I think a lot of people forget about that, is suddenly they're seeing this happen week after week, but no one saw the 30 plus years before that. And so I feel like
everything that you went through between, it's not just 30 plus years of work, it's 30 plus years of work plus a car accident, losing family members. There's so much that you had to go through prior to getting here, and luckily she's finally getting rewarded. Like I've seen this girl like rock bottom, just unhappy, like post accident especially, and so it's like so rewarding to see your friends finally succeed and happy. And I think like, oh, don't make me cry.
Put me in my feels right now. I literally thought about that. Like, I think that's what's so crazy, especially because I've never openly, like we've referenced the accident on the podcast, but like I literally am not in a place of stability.
Yeah.
In the sense of like, if you guys have listened to the podcast consistently, you know I don't speak on anything until I've healed. And that's one thing, is like learning to accept that something can happen to you one random day, changes the course of your life forever. For the rest of my life, I have complications because of it, and it has changed me and who I am as a person, good and bad. And not everybody's accepting of that. And to have people that just like know what I've been through, know when I have my moments or I'm sharp or I get irritable so easy now, like I just snap. Just to have people that get it and know what that's like and watch what I've been through and recognize the fact that like I also am human. And I feel like I get a lot of judgment here. People just always seem very quick to speak on things here. Never lived in a place where people are just so like, so quick, like, oh, she's doing that. And then I have somebody like Anyssa that like brings it back and reminds you what you've been through, where you're going and who you are. And it's just unique to have somebody that is like a physical presence of life on this earth. So thanks for making me cry on my podcast on the video. When I film the audio, no one knows when I cry.
Oh no!
So I'm like, oh, like look at this.
Not you crying.
You'll be crying on the podcast.
I think we cry at least once every time we hang out. One of us do.
I mean, not
but
wrong.
Something like I think that kind of just hits like spot on to what we were talking about of like bringing human back into being human beings. And I think the biggest thing, like, on my day-to-day is, like, you know the quote, to be seen is to be loved, or to be loved is to be seen, whatever.
It goes both ways.
It does go both ways. And I think the biggest thing, and the biggest way to just be human, is to see people and know them and acknowledge them. Like, something that most people wouldn't know about Gina is obviously the car accident. She doesn't just, like, bring it up. But, like, for me, I've known about it, and this weekend we went to a restaurant and they were going to sit us inside, but it was so loud. And the first thought was, oh, this would be too much for Gina. Like, she can't handle loud noises. So we went and found a quiet spot outside. And just things like that, like think outside of just yourself when you're making decisions. Think about the people around you. And it just makes all the difference. Like that just like brings people closer to truly understand them. Understand like what decisions they would make for themselves and get to know them deeply. And my faith has had a lot with that. Just like really helping me empathize for people and understand people and put them not first always, but you know, keep them in mind. Like obviously you want a healthy balance, but thoughtful. Yeah. Yes. Always take other people into consideration. So that's definitely helpful when it comes to my faith.
I love that. So 2025, for whatever reason, seems to be the year that everybody is leveling up in my life. And it's so inspiring that not a single one of my friends isn't going after like some big goal this year. So share a little bit about what is your focus in 2025? What's that big thing you're pushing to work towards this year?
So I would definitely say career. I just want to keep growing. Like I'm still pretty young and new to the industry, but there's so much growth. And within the last year of me being in social media, I've learned so much already, and it's just every day is changing. So I want to somehow, some way take that to the next level. And I've got some things in mind, but yeah, just truly just like growing. And there's different ways to do that with social media, so that will be exciting. And then another thing for 2025, so I put my name in after the half marathon. Me, Sheridan, and a couple other friends put our names in for the New York full marathon.
Oh my god, if we get in, we're going. We're going.
If we get in, we're all doing a girls' trip.
Oh, we're going.
But
if you guys get in, we're going.
If I don't get in, which I said it's God's will. If I get in, it's meant to be. If not, that's okay too. But maybe a full marathon is in store.
I'll have all the signs, all the glitter, all the things. It'll be as girly pop. She's girly pop, girly pop, and like I will make it pink and glittery. Like that is going on.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's so exciting.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I don't want to be hard on myself for that. I want to enjoy it. And I feel like if I do get into something like New York you truly have the biggest, most exciting atmosphere. So that's why I'm like, okay, if I get into New York, I'm going to soak it all in and just really take my time on the course. But if I don't get in, that's okay. I'll find another marathon to do that. And I'm just going to enjoy it. I'm not like going to go for a time. Like, all my friends do go for times, and I'm so proud of them. But I think I personally just want the experience itself, not. I mean, we're all getting a medal at the end of it anyway, so it's like,
not
doesn't
everybody
matter.
can run at sub-zeros. So.
Yes.
I've been joking. I don't know what any
Just
of
like
this
sub-zero.
means. They keep talking about sub-something numbers, and the whole time at the running expo, I was like, what are they talking about? Like, and then we were talking about something, and I was like, yeah, I'm running at a sub-zero pace. Like, I had no idea what any of it meant. And everybody laughed their asses off at me, and I was like, that's definitely wrong. So whatever, that's definitely wrong.
Well, sub 2 hours is like under 2 hours, basically. So it's like, usually,
is there a cutoff? Like,
no cutoff. Like, you can take as long as you want.
Hours?
I mean, okay, I don't think it would take you 7 hours. There's people that do walk, and it takes them obviously a little bit more, but ideal, like, all my friends average around like 1:30 to 2 hours, I would say. So it's like, I feel like you're a good in shape runner. Oh, that sounds mean. Okay, I think conditioned runner. Yeah, because I mean, you could still run like a 10-minute pace. And that is just as hard too. You're still doing 13 miles.
It's like
it doesn't matter.
What I'm learning, being around endurance.
It's
like,
all
the
endurance.
more consistent you are, and you get faster because you build endurance.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like really does take a lot of training and a lot of time.
Yeah, no, it's truly like a training block takes forever. Like, I haven't gone through a full marathon training block, and truly I've never actually had like a training plan or like a coach, which my next approach, I definitely am going to incorporate that. But I've seen my friends train for marathons, and it's like months and months, and they're waking up at like 5 a.m., 4:30 a.m. to go run 20 miles on a Saturday or a Sunday. And that's where I'm like, maybe I don't want to do a full marathon.
Yeah.
It is time consuming, but it definitely is all endurance. I mean, yeah, that's like the hardest part, because even like I have this curse on mile 10 through 3 where I always like plateau and get really tired. So even like me, who I've been running for over a year, I still struggle. So I mean, it doesn't matter truly at the end of the day how fast you are. It's truly like how strong your endurance is, which I don't have. I guess apparently I can only last 10 miles. So, and that's why I go downhill.
Would you say, what is your 2025 power affirmation? What's that sentence you're going to live your life by that's going to keep you going even when you feel fatigued or you question if you're capable? What's like that badass statement that you're going to live by this year?
Well, I guess I kind of brought it up earlier. I love just saying, and that's okay. I think it's like such a simple, like, cool thing to carry around. It's like the coolest tool. It's like, if you get in a car accident, that's okay. Like,
it does get better.
It does get
better. No, it's so good because like
it's true, and that's okay. And look at her now, like we got a ways to go,
you know.
Or like that boy doesn't like you, that's okay because something's gonna happen even better, and like that's just so exciting. It's like the unknown. Like most people kind of get scared of that unknown, and I feel like I kind of thrive in that. Like I just love the unknown because I don't know, every single day is different. And I love like when people say like your life can change overnight, because it truly can, but it doesn't have to mean, like, you don't have to associate that with a bad thing. You can associate it with a good thing. And if you just constantly think like, oh my gosh, I'm so lucky, good things happen to me, good things will happen to you. Like, if I'm just carrying that positive mindset, you're gonna have a positive life. And so just the smallest little sentence saying that's okay, and then going on with your day, game changer. But power affirmation is probably like affirmation for myself. I mean, I would say that I'm more than capable of anything that is put on me and anything that I go through. I just love knowing that I am capable and I'm qualified for anything that is put, that I go through, and that's just something that everyone should fully understand about yourself is that you're gonna get it done, and you are capable, and you are qualified. Just because you're a woman, just because you're 24, just because you're young, does not make you unqualified at all. If anything, those are your strengths. And so,
boom.
That's it. Yeah.
Good job.
I'm capable.
Your
I'm
growth
strong.
is so incredible.
Thank you.
She's come a long way. It's like such a beautiful thing to see.
I was such a baby when she first
Literally, like my
little
sister.
baby.
Like,
I was in college. Terrible relationship.
yeah, talk about toxic.
But honestly,
she had to learn it. Like we watched it and we would like help her, but sometimes you have to go through it to get through it. And you came out on the other side, and the person you are now, like that previous person could have never handled. And it's just so cool to see. Like, it's such a beautiful thing that through the darkness, there's always light. And like they say in Harry Potter, you just have to remember to turn on the light. And so no matter what you're going through, there's always another side of it. Exactly. And just don't lose sight of the fact that there is a positive end to everything you go through. And you are living proof of like just being able to turn everything you've been around into who you are today. Which is why you need to say, or wherever we move, we're moving together.
Yeah.
I like just don't want to do selfishly life without her. So tell everybody where they can find you, where to follow you, and that is all I have for you.
All right. My Instagram handle is Anyssa Grant, and then my TikTok handle, where it's a little bit more chaotic, is AnyssaMira_.
Girlfriend's in the Million View Club, so like don't even follow her TikTok. If you need content in Tampa, she's efficient, she's aesthetic, she is just like always gets the good vibes, the good angles, never makes you look bad. I always look better than I do when she films my content. But you see her in the streets, you see her running, definitely say hello, check her out, but give her a follow. She's an incredible soul, and you'd be blessed to have her in your life. I'm very grateful for you, your time, and I cannot wait to keep growing in 2025 together.
I love you. Oh my gosh.